The wardrobe suddenly toppled over with a heavy thud. Hearing the crash, the mother rushed into the room, only to freeze in horror. Her 1-year-old son lay trapped beneath the heavy furniture. In a desperate panic, she tried to lift the wardrobe, but its immense weight refused to budge, as blood slowly spread across the floor from under the cabinet. After the boy's death, the woman was drowned in grief every day. Her husband constantly blamed her for not watching the child. What was once a happy home had now shattered completely. What she never knew was this: her son's death was no accident. After the funeral, Mary was consumed by guilt, believing her carelessness had caused the tragedy. Sorrow filled every corner of the house. Whenever she had a moment, Mary would wipe the empty space where the wardrobe once stood, as if she could erase the memory and numb the pain. Her husband, seeing her like this, would only grow angrier. He was convinced she was at fault, though somewhere inside he knew it wasn't entirely her doing. The agony of losing his son had stripped away his reason. Every time he saw Mary, he couldn't hold back his rage. One day, as Mary sat holding their son's tiny clothes, a sharp knock came at the door. It was her husband. He even kissed her forehead gently, as if their son's death had never happened. He told Mary his brother would visit the next day, and asked her to get herself and the baby ready. Mary stood frozen. Their son had been gone for 3 months, and her husband's brother had died in an accident 15 years earlier. Just then, another knock echoed from the door. Her husband told her to answer it, but as she stepped toward the entrance, she heard her husband's angry shouts from outside. If her husband was outside, then who was the man who had just kissed her indoors? She hurried back to the living room, but the man had vanished. Had it all been in her mind? When she opened the front door, there stood her husband, yelling at her. As unsettling as his anger was, it felt more real than the apparition she'd just seen. The next day, Mary told her close friend what had happened. She thought it might be stress-induced hallucinations, but her friend disagreed. Hallucinations don't feel that vivid, she said. Something felt deeply wrong, so she urged Mary to visit a spiritual advisor, someone who could help uncover the truth. But Mary didn't believe in such things, and angrily walked away. On her way home, the strangeness followed her. As she passed a dilapidated old house, she clearly heard the sound of a wardrobe shaking. Terrified, Mary hurried on. That night, a noise woke her from deep sleep. She opened her eyes, and a gruesome scene unfolded. A group of dark-clad figures surrounded a pregnant woman, cut open her belly, and pulled out the unborn child. The horrific vision left her trembling. Her husband rushed in when he heard her scream, but by then, everything was normal again. He thought she was losing her mind, and withdrew further, cold and distant. Mary didn't understand what was happening. Trying to save what was left of her family, she attempted to reconnect with her husband, but he met her with the same angry face. He wouldn't even look at her. Heartbroken, Mary visited her son's grave, pleading for his forgiveness, pouring out her loneliness and sorrow. But then, the same eerie voice she'd heard before whispered once more in her ear. After so many unsettling events, Mary finally accepted that something was terribly wrong. The next morning, she contacted her friend, and asked to meet the spiritual elder. Inside his home, a young blonde boy sat quietly in a corner. The elder had Mary write her name 3 times, smeared a drop of his blood over the writing, soaked the paper in water, and had the boy drink the mixture. As he chanted, the boy's face twisted in the mirror's reflection. After a series of frightening images flashed before them, the elder looked deeply troubled. He sent the boy outside, then told Mary she was under a vicious curse, cast by someone related to her by blood, most likely an aunt. To break the curse, she needed to find that person, and learn the method and motive behind it. Mary was stunned. Her aunts had been dead for years, and she had never wronged anyone. Why would someone curse her? Still doubtful, she visited her mother in the countryside, and asked about her aunts. Her mother explained that after Mary's father died, his sister had cut all contact. Rumor was she'd died of cancer years ago. When Mary asked about her maternal aunt, her mother broke down in tears. 25 years earlier, her aunt's husband, consumed by gambling, had killed his wife and their 2 young daughters in a fit of rage. Seeing her mother's pain, Mary didn't press further. She decided to stay the night. She shared a bed with her paralyzed grandmother, but in the deep of night, her mother jolted awake, and saw blood seeping through her pillow, as though something was trying to claw its way out. Behind her, 2 dark shadows began to take shape. The next day, the wife of a colleague came to Mary's husband, asking him to watch her young son for a while. She had no idea that this simple request would become the final blow. Holding the little boy in his arms, the husband could no longer bear the pain of losing his own son. After work, he went to the cemetery, and took his own life at their child's graveside. Meanwhile, unaware of the tragedy, Mary traveled to a small village to ask about her late aunt's family. A local woman told her that
Ablam gitme o eve.
Hangi eve?
Sahipli evi.
Kimin evi ki o?
Cinlerin evi. Senin o anlattığını cinler yaptırmış o adama. Sonra da sahipleni vermişler eve. Ve hocalar geldi gitti de girebilen olmadı daha.
Nerede bu ev?
Ablam gel sen beni dinle. Gidilecek yer değil orası.
Before Mary left, the woman reluctantly gave her the address. As she turned to go, Mary glanced back and saw two shadowy figures in black, silently following the village woman. It was then she realized, wherever she went, those two dark spirits appeared, always watching, never far behind.